delicate girl, clad in tattered garments and bearing a weary expression, sat solitary on the pavement, just outside an opulent restaurant in Los Angeles, clutching a modest sign. To many, she appeared merely as another individual without a home. People on the street averted their gazes, quickly making their way past. As Keanu Reeves stepped through the doorway, his gaze fell upon her. There was something about the girl that compelled him to pause. Yet, unbeknownst to him, this girl was concealing a secret, and the motive behind her urgent need for money will leave you completely astonished. Unbeknownst to him, that evening would alter the course of both her life and his. Before we proceed with this narrative, please share your location with us. If you find pleasure in tales like this, consider subscribing to the channel, as we have another captivating story lined up for you tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. The evening in Los Angeles resembled a dynamic canvas, with vivid lights shimmering on the glistening asphalt following a short downpour. The primary avenue, adorned with sophisticated dining spots and glowing shopfronts, resonated with soft laughter and hushed exchanges emanating from inside the venues. One of these locations, recognized as a hub for celebrities and the local elite, was especially lively that evening. Keanu Reeves emerged from the restaurant, his serene presence standing in stark contrast to the vibrant atmosphere surrounding him. He seemed absorbed in contemplation, possibly reminiscing about the delightful exchange he had just enjoyed with friends during dinner. Yet, an unseen force compelled him to halt suddenly. On the sidewalk ahead, almost undetectable to the rushing gaze of those who hurried by, stood a girl. She appeared to be no older than 12 or 13 years of age. Perched on a frayed blanket, her modest, ragged attire spoke volumes about her challenging situation. In her grasp, she clutched a petite, handwritten sign. Her expression fluctuated between optimism and acceptance as she observed the passers-by, who offered not a single look in her direction. Keanu paused briefly. He observed the way others overlooked her, turning their gaze away, as though she were invisible. The moment resonated within him, evoking recollections of trials he had encountered. Guided by a deep sense of understanding, he chose to reach out to her. "Is everything all right?" he inquired softly, lowering himself to meet her gaze. The girl glanced upward, her expression one of clear astonishment at his arrival. Her voice emerged with uncertainty, scarcely reaching the ear. I urgently require assistance," she said, her eyes pleading. Keanu examined her face closely. There was an elusive quality about her that he couldn't fully grasp, a blend of trepidation and resolve. He inhaled deeply before posing the question once more. "What is the purpose of the funds?" The girl turned her eyes away, fixating on the ground as if seeking a hidden truth. Her extended quietude bore a significance she wasn't prepared to unveil. She refrained from replying, deepening Keanu's curiosity. Keanu observed the girl's uncertainty, understanding that she was grappling with her choice of words. He was reluctant to impose on her, yet he found it impossible to abandon her in that solitude. The street thrummed with life, yet that little corner seemed curiously removed from everything around it. "If it's truly urgent, perhaps I can assist," he suggested, his tone steady and comforting. The girl momentarily raised her gaze, only to let it fall once more, fixating on the earth beneath her feet. Her voice floated gently, barely more than a whisper. "It's not for me, but I'm unsure if I should voice that." Keanu felt the complexity of the situation beneath the surface. He observed her shivering, maybe due to the chill in the air, or perhaps from anxiety. Driven by an unshakable sense of duty, he resolved to explore an alternative method. "Have you had your dinner yet?" he inquired. With a moment of uncertainty, she finally decided against it and shook her head. "Then let's go. How about we grab a bite?" he suggested, gesturing towards a quaint cafe on the other side of the street. "It's too cold to stay out here." The girl glanced around, contemplating the safety of accompanying him. After a brief pause filled with hesitation, she gave a slight nod and rose gradually, picking up her sign along with a small backpack that rested beside her. In the cozy cafe, Keanu selected a secluded table tucked away in the corner. A waitress arrived with the menus, and he placed an order for 2 steaming hot drinks along with sandwiches. As they lingered, he took another shot at sparking a dialogue. "Have you reached out to anyone else for assistance today?" She let out a soft sigh, her fingers absent-mindedly toying with the strap of her backpack. "No one was willing to lend a hand. They all act like I'm invisible," she said, her voice tinged with both frustration and sorrow. Keanu nodded, fully grasping the significance of her words. The stillness that enveloped them shattered as the waitress arrived with their meals. The girl cradled the warm cup in her hands, absorbing the comforting heat it offered. After a brief pause, Keanu made another attempt. "Now that you're feeling more at ease, could you share with me the reasons you seek assistance?" The girl paused, her uncertainty palpable, but ultimately replied, "I just need to save someone before it's too late." Her cryptic answer only deepens Keanu's curiosity as he seeks to decipher the real significance of her statement. The cafe exuded a serene ambience, punctuated only by the soft clinking of spoons meeting cups. Keanu observed the girl, her delicate lips meeting the rim of her glass as she savored each small sip of her drink. She possessed an enigmatic quality that ignited a blend of worry and intrigue in him. He chose to adopt an alternative method, revealing something intimate. "As a child, I faced my share of challenges," he started, his tone steady and contemplative. "I experienced the loss of my father at a young age, and my mother was occupied with work throughout the day. At times, I experienced a profound sense of solitude. Yet, I discovered that even in the bleakest times, there exists a path to progress." The girl ceased her nervous play with the edge of her cup and raised her gaze to meet his, a blend of astonishment and wariness reflected in her eyes. It was evident she was taken aback by the unexpected intimacy of the revelation. After a brief pause, her lips trembled, and she finally spoke in a wavering voice, "I lost my parents too." Keanu leaned in a bit, prompting her to share more. It was evident that this admission required considerable strength. "In a car accident," she said, her voice quivering with emotion. I found myself waiting for them at school. They said they'd pick me up early that day, but they never came." Her words lingered in the air, and Keanu felt their weight profoundly. He understood that this was a burden no child ought to endure. "I truly apologize," he expressed with genuine feeling. "That must have been devastating." The girl inhaled deeply, striving to hold herself together, yet tears started to flow down her cheeks. She shielded her eyes with her hands, her body quivering gently with quiet sobs. Keanu remained calm and composed, allowing her the time to gather her thoughts. He extended his hands softly, not to impose, but to assure her that she was not alone. "My mom was incredible," she said through her tears. "She had a remarkable ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. My dad had a way of making you feel like you were the center of the universe. I miss them so much," she said, her voice tinged with longing. Keanu gently squeezed her hand, providing a soothing comfort. "They seem like truly remarkable individuals," he remarked gently, "and I'm certain they take great pride in the resilience you possess." The girl offered a faint smile amidst her tears, but her expression quickly shifted back to a frown. "I currently reside with my uncle," she confessed. "He seems to have a low opinion of me. It seems he only accepted me out of a sense of obligation. It's different now, nothing feels the same." She stopped, her fists tightening. "What remains of them is the wisdom they imparted to me, and the kitten they gifted me before they passed away. He remains the sole link that ties me to them." Text: "I made a promise to myself that I'd take care of him, no matter what. Where is he now?" Keanu inquired softly. The girl averted her gaze, dabbing at her tears with the napkin he had offered her. I can't say, not yet." The girl's revelation about the kitten pulled Keanu deeper into her narrative. Yet her hesitation to divulge further details created an enigmatic atmosphere surrounding the events that had genuinely transpired. The evening in Los Angeles lingered, and the cafe started to clear out. Keanu observed the girl, who appeared more at ease now yet remained uncertain. He understood that he couldn't compel her to trust him. Yet, he was resolute in his desire to assist. "You know," he said with a gentle smile, "caring for those we cherish is often what sustains us. This kitten appears to hold a significant place in your heart." The girl nodded slowly, her fingers tightening around the strap of her backpack. She appeared to be contemplating whether to reveal more. After an extended pause, she finally started to express her thoughts. "His name is Toby," she remarked, a subtle hint of sadness gracing her smile. "He was merely a small kitten when my parents gifted him to me. Mom said he was our little miracle, appearing at our doorstep on a chilly night, on my birthday." She paused, as if the memory was unfolding before her. Her eyes shimmered, reflecting a blend of sadness and warmth. "Following there, disappeared, he transformed into my entire world. He stood by me in my tears, during those sleepless nights. He's the one thing that keeps the memory of my parents alive for me." Keanu nodded, grasping the significance of her connection. "So, what became of Toby?" he inquired gently. The girl averted her gaze, a familiar ache resurfacing on her features. "My uncle mentioned that he was unable to keep him. He mentioned that it's already quite challenging having me in the house, and adding a cat was just another burden," she murmured, her voice barely audible. "He sought to eliminate him." Keanu's brow furrowed, a surge of protective instincts awakening within him. "Is that the reason you fled?" She nodded, her eyes glistening with fresh tears. "I realized he was completely oblivious. Toby is the only remnant of my parents that remains. I couldn't allow that to occur." Keanu inhaled deeply, taking in her words. It was evident that this girl was shouldering an emotional weight far beyond what any child ought to endure. "So, where is Toby at this moment?" he inquired, maintaining a composed demeanor. She paused before responding, her tone laced with doubt. "I concealed him in a secure location, yet—" she hesitated, her throat tightening. "He's unwell, and I'm at a loss for how to proceed. He has ceased to eat and can hardly muster the strength to move. That's the reason I require funds. He requires assistance, yet I'm unsure of how to afford it." She glanced at Keanu, her face transforming from sadness to a firm resolve. "My mom was a vet," she continued, her voice gaining strength. "She often reminded me to be observant of signs, for animals communicate in ways that differ from our own. Toby appears frail and has experienced bouts of vomiting on several occasions. It seems he may have ingested something inappropriate, perhaps a fragment of plastic or a strand of thread. My mom referred to it as an obstruction. I recall her mentioning that during a previous encounter with another ailing cat. Keanu was impressed by the girl's keen awareness and expertise. It was evident that she had taken in a great deal of her mother's teachings, even at such a tender age. "You appear to have quite a bit of insight into the situation," Keanu remarked, clearly impressed. "Incredible. It's just not sufficient." She let out a sigh, her frustration palpable. "I lack the medicine and tools my mother once had, and if I don't act quickly, he may not make it." Keanu gently placed his hand over hers, offering comfort. "I assure you that we will locate Toby and assist him. You don't have to face this alone." The girl gazed at him, her eyes filled with a blend of despair and hope. "Is that something you would genuinely consider?" she inquired, her disbelief evident. Keanu beamed. "Indeed, but it's essential that you place your trust in me. We'll do this together," the girl reveals, drawing on her mother's teachings to express that Toby may have a potentially fatal obstruction. This revelation intensifies the bond to her past as Keanu steps forward, pledging to shoulder the duty of rescuing the kitten, creating a thrilling race against time. The girl embraced herself, as though seeking to protect her heart from the hurt woven into her own speech. "I followed my mother's guidance, yet it still falls short. I'm at a loss for what to do next." She halted her steps, her gaze fixed on the ground. If she were present, she would have the answer. I simply miss her," he said softly, stopping beside her and placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "It's perfectly natural to feel that way," he said softly, his voice soothing the turmoil inside her. "Yet you are displaying remarkable courage. Now that we're united, we'll do everything possible to support Toby." The girl gazed at him, and for a fleeting instant, her eyes shimmered with a hint of appreciation. "He's the only piece of my parents that remains," she whispered, "and I cannot let him down." Keanu nodded once more. "And you shall not. We're in this together." As they approached a nearby alley, the girl started searching through the boxes stacked haphazardly. With nimble fingers, she deftly pushed aside a neatly folded blanket that concealed a narrow gap between the walls. From that spot, she retrieved a petite basket in which Toby was nestled comfortably. The frail kitten lay still, emitting a soft meow as he detected her approach. "Toby," she murmured, softly caressing the cat's head. Keanu knelt beside her, studying the delicate little creature. He instantly observed the frailty in Toby's demeanor, struggling to respond. Action was imperative and it had to happen swiftly. "He lacks strength," Keanu remarked. "We must take him to a vet immediately." The girl gazed up at him, her eyes brimming with concern. "However, I lack the funds. I was seeking assistance for that reason. I'm not sure how to cover the cost," she admitted, glancing at Keanu, who responded with a comforting smile. "No need to fret over that. I will handle it. What matters most at this moment is ensuring he receives the assistance he requires." Gently, he lifted Toby into the basket, cradling the delicate little form as if it were the most valuable treasure. The girl remained near him, her unease apparent as they rushed to hail a taxi. Upon entering the veterinary clinic, a warm and welcoming receptionist greeted them. Keanu swiftly detailed the circumstances, and Toby was promptly escorted to the examination room. Time dragged on endlessly as they lingered in the lobby. The girl shifted restlessly, her gaze locked on the door from which Toby had vanished. At last, the veterinarian appeared, his demeanor grave. "Toby is quite frail," he started. "Surgery is required to eliminate the obstruction in his digestive system. It's a fragile and costly operation, yet without it, he won't make it." The girl gazed at Keanu, her expression heavy with hopelessness. "And now?" she inquired, her voice scarcely above a whisper. Keanu gently rested his hand on her shoulder and, with unwavering resolve, declared, "We're going to proceed with the surgery. Don't concern yourself with the expenses. I'll handle it." Keanu pledges to cover the surgery costs. Yet Toby's precarious state and the intricate nature of the operation cast a shadow over his future. The girl inhaled deeply, attempting to embrace Keanu's vow. The knowledge that Toby had a chance reignited her hope. Yet the grip of fear continued to leave her unsettled. While they waited for the vet to arrange the surgery preparations, she started to open up about her connection with Toby. "When my parents gave me Toby, they said he was special, like a gift that arrived just when I needed it most." She paused, her fingers tracing the strap of her backpack. "He appeared utterly terrified when he arrived at our doorstep. My mom always believed that animals have a sense for finding a safe place." Keanu listened closely, realizing that Toby held a significance beyond mere companionship for her. He embodied affection, kinship, and unity, a legacy she was resolute in safeguarding. Eventually, the veterinarian made their way back. "We're prepared for the operation," he stated. "However, there is an important detail you should be aware of. Toby's frailty adds an element of risk to the procedure. We'll do everything we can to save him, but I can't promise anything." The girl swallowed hard, her fingers clenching the edges of her chair. "You will rescue him, won't you?" she inquired, her voice tinged with desperation. The veterinarian acknowledged with empathy. "We'll give it our all." As Toby was led away, Keanu gently rested a hand on the girl's shoulder, offering comfort. "He's in capable hands now," he remarked. "The most important thing is that you didn't give up on him." She gazed at him, her voice trembling as she fought to contain her tears, her eyes shining with deep emotion. "I simply wish for him to return home with me." He's the sole reminder of the joy I felt with my parents. Keanu paused, absorbing the depth of her statement. And you're offering him that opportunity, he stated confidently. You possess more strength than you realize. Time dragged on, each hour stretching into eternity. The young woman moved restlessly in the confined lobby, as Keanu observed, providing what solace he could through his unwavering demeanor. At last, the veterinarian returned. The operation went well, he declared. The obstruction in Toby's digestive system has been successfully removed. He requires rest and intensive care for the next 24 hours to guarantee his recovery. The girl let out a sigh of relief, hiding her face in her hands as tears of gratitude flowed down her cheeks. Is he going to be all right? She inquired, her voice quivering. We're optimistic about his recovery, the veterinarian responded. But he'll require quite a bit of attention, Keanu said with a warm smile, bending down to connect with the girl's gaze. That means Toby is on the road to coming home with you. She embraced him unexpectedly, her appreciation spilling over in a gesture that conveyed more than words ever could. Even with the surgery going well, Toby's path to recovery is still unclear, and the next few days will be crucial. As time goes on, Keanu starts to understand that aiding the girl transcends a mere fleeting task. It's a connection that tugs at his heartstrings, one he cannot overlook. The girl struggled to find rest that night. Even with the news of Toby's survival after surgery, the lingering uncertainty about his recovery left her feeling uneasy. Keanu remained close to her, providing a quiet solace, fully aware that his mere presence was the most valuable gift he could offer at that time. The following morning, they made their way back to the veterinary clinic to check on Toby. The atmosphere remained thick with tension, yet a subtle glimmer of hope lingered in the air. The veterinarian welcomed them at the front desk with a reassuring smile. Toby is making a good recovery, he declared. He remains fragile, yet we are beginning to observe indications of progress. You can see him now, but keep in mind that he requires a lot of rest. The girl nodded enthusiastically, excited to reunite with her furry companion. Keanu trailed behind her as the veterinarian guided them to the cozy room where Toby lay at ease. Upon entering, she moved toward the cage with caution, as though fearful of causing him any disturbance. Toby reclined on a plush blanket, his eyelids fluttering in a state of half-awareness. A soft meow escaped him as the girl knelt beside the cage, her hand reaching in to tenderly caress his head. "Hey, friend," she murmured, her voice quivering. "You possess remarkable strength. I'm here now." Keanu observed the scene, a wave of emotions washing over him. He understood that this moment transcended a mere reunion. The bond was one that went beyond mere language. Toby embodied all that the girl had once cherished, and now he symbolized a fresh opportunity for optimism. "He's reacting positively to your company," the vet remarked with a grin. Creatures like Toby have an innate ability to perceive the warmth of affection around them. The girl lingered beside Toby for an extended period, whispering to him gently. Keanu perched on a nearby chair, captivated by the unwavering spirit of the young child. In spite of all she had faced, her heart remained open, ready to offer love without conditions. As they stepped out of the room, the veterinarian detailed the forthcoming procedures. "Toby will require continuous support in the coming weeks," he stated. "A tailored meal plan, prescribed treatments, and a serene atmosphere. With this, he should make a full recovery." The girl appeared relieved, yet her expression soon transformed into one of concern. "I'm uncertain whether my uncle will permit Toby to return home with me." Keanu frowned, sensing the burden of this unexpected twist. "There's no need for concern," he stated with conviction. "We will discover a resolution. You're not alone." She raised her gaze to him, her eyes glimmering with a blend of appreciation and uncertainty. Placing her trust in someone remained a significant hurdle, yet Keanu was resolute in his commitment to not disappoint her. "We'll look after Toby together," he promised her, "and we'll take care of you too. As Toby makes a good recovery, The ambiguity surrounding his accommodation and the unpredictable conditions of the girl's surroundings present fresh hurdles for Keanu. He starts to contemplate a more conclusive approach to assist her. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Keanu and the girl exited the veterinary clinic. Toby found himself in a secure place, yet the path ahead was shrouded in ambiguity. The girl held a package of medications tightly, her hands quivering just a bit. "Do you believe we can remain united?" she inquired with a hint of uncertainty. "My uncle, he won't allow it." Keanu paused, locking eyes with her. "I assured you I would assist you and Toby," he stated with a serene demeanor. "And I shall uphold that promise." She bit her lip, her voice barely above a whisper. "But in what way? I have nowhere else to go, and my uncle only lets me stay because he feels obligated to." Keanu inhaled deeply. "First, we need to ensure Toby's safety. Then we shall discover a location that brings you joy. Trust me." He took out his phone and dialed a number. "I have connections that could assist," he elaborated later. "There are programs available that teach you how to care for animals, just like your mom used to do." Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Do you believe I could follow in her footsteps and become a vet?" Keanu offered a warm smile. "Certainly. All you need is an opportunity, and we will ensure it comes your way." The following day, they collected Toby and relocated him to a temporary residence organized by the group Keanu had reached out to. The snug abode provided a sense of security and warmth for the girl and Toby alike. As she stood quietly, absorbing the scene around her, Toby purred gently in her embrace. "I never imagined someone would go to such lengths for me," she said softly. "You've accomplished so much simply by being who you are," Keanu responded. "And you're not alone anymore." For the first time in ages, she smiled, a shy yet sincere smile. Keanu finds a secure haven for the girl and Toby, yet an unforeseen call looms, poised to alter the course of events dramatically. The girl's days grew more radiant as Toby made progress in his recovery. Their brief sanctuary was serene, with Keanu remaining close, steering her toward a brighter tomorrow. One day, Keanu stumbled upon her engrossed in a veterinary book. "It seems someone has their sights set on what lies ahead," he smiled. She gazed upward and declared, "I aspire to be a vet, just like my mother. I want to help animals like Toby." Keanu admired her resolve, yet understood that she required more than merely a secure environment to flourish. A few days later, he got some positive news from the organization looking after her. A family with a deep love for animals had come forward, eager to foster her and provide care for Toby. Keanu experienced a complex blend of relief tinged with nostalgia. He understood it was the right choice for her. On that day, they explored the inviting new home of the family, featuring a spacious backyard where Toby could play freely. The girl paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes, but finally spoke. "Perhaps this is the place where Toby and I can begin anew." Keanu's smile widened. "You can always count on me." Months passed, and then Keanu found a letter from the girl waiting for him. She mentioned that Toby was in good health and that she had become engaged in activities related to animal care. She expressed, "Thank you for revealing that there are still kind souls in the world. You offered me an opportunity when others had lost faith in me. That moment will stay with me forever." Keanu folded the letter, a sense of deep satisfaction washing over him. "At times, a simple act can transform a whole existence," he penned in his diary. "And in return, our own lives transform for the better." If this tale resonated with you, we have countless others that will touch your heart. Tap the screen to delve into a collection of inspiring tales filled with hope, kindness, and strength.